Somewhere in a steel plant in Guizhou province, China, engineers just connected something to the power grid that has no boiler, no steam, and barely resembles the machine that's been sitting in garages for the last 100 years. And it works by pressurizing carbon dioxide until it stops behaving like a gas and starts behaving like something else entirely. If this technology keeps scaling down the way researchers expect, the loud, fuel-hungry box in your garage, the one that can poison you if you run it too close to a window, could become as outdated as a hand-cranked telephone. Stay with me because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how pressurized gas can replace an engine, and why engineers think this could quietly reshape how every home generator on the planet works. Take a second and think about how many machines around you right now are secretly the same machine. The generator in your garage, the one at the construction site down the street, the one humming behind a hospital during a blackout, the one your neighbor wheels out every hurricane season. Almost all of them run on the same idea perfected more than a century ago. Burn fuel, spin a shaft, turn that spin into electricity. It's called internal combustion power generation, and it has dominated backup power for generations, largely unchanged in principle. Without it, hospitals lose power during storms, families lose refrigeration, entire regions go dark after disasters, and almost nobody stops to think about what it's actually costing them to keep that engine running. Here's what stays invisible in your garage. To make electricity, that engine is burning gasoline or diesel constantly, producing exhaust that has to go somewhere, according to the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission. Portable generators are linked to roughly 75 to 100 carbon monoxide deaths in the United States every single year, and the agency has tracked more than 1,300 generator-related deaths over the past 2 decades. One portable generator running for an hour can produce as much carbon monoxide as hundreds of cars. Multiply that across every household, every job site, every disaster zone where these machines get switched on, and you start to understand why engineers have spent years trying to find a way to generate power without burning anything indoors at all. This isn't a new problem to try to solve. Scientists have known for decades that carbon dioxide, when squeezed above a certain pressure and temperature, enters something called a supercritical state, where it behaves partly like a gas and partly like a liquid at the same time. In that state, it becomes dense enough to spin a turbine almost as efficiently as steam, but without needing to boil water first. Researchers at places like the Nuclear Power Institute of China and separately a U.S. Department of Energy pilot project in Texas have spent more than a decade trying to build turbines around this idea. It worked in small lab tests, but for years, these systems stayed stuck as experimental prototypes. The reason? Building compact machinery that could handle carbon dioxide at those extreme pressures without leaking or wearing down fast was an engineering nightmare on its own. So a team backed by the China National Nuclear Corporation asked a different question. What if, instead of relying on steam and a boiler system built around burning fuel, the plant used waste heat that already exists and ran it through carbon dioxide instead of water? Here's the simple version of how it works. Picture squeezing a sponge underwater. It doesn't act like it does in the open air. It gets denser and moves differently through your hand. Carbon dioxide does something similar past a critical pressure point. It stops behaving like a normal gas. In this state, it can transfer heat and spin machinery far more efficiently, packed into a fraction of the space a steam system would need. Older heat-to-power systems boiled water into steam to spin a turbine, but steam systems are bulky and need constant water treatment to keep equipment from corroding. According to reporting from Interesting Engineering, the new supercritical carbon dioxide generator, connected in Guizhou, uses two 15-megawatt units, estimated to be at least 50% more efficient at converting waste heat into electricity than standard steam systems. In a report covered by the South China Morning Post, the system captures waste heat from a steel plant's sintering process, heat that would otherwise just be released into the air and wasted, and turns it directly into usable electricity. Because supercritical carbon dioxide is denser than steam, according to China's Institute of Mechanics, the entire generator can be built dramatically smaller than a steam turbine producing the same output, closing the gap between an interesting lab concept and something that could eventually be shrunk down toward the scale of equipment sitting in a garage or a backyard. Here's where it gets more interesting. This wasn't just about steel plants, because the design swaps steam and its heavy plumbing for a compact, closed loop of pressurized gas. The same research direction is already being explored for smaller applications. Interesting Engineering reports that compact versions of these systems are being investigated for mobile nuclear reactors, spacecraft power, and solar plants, situations where space and weight matter as much as raw output. Meanwhile, in the United States, a similar supercritical transformational electric power project, backed by the Department of Energy in Texas, has been pushing the same technology towards smaller footprints. What started as squeezing more electricity out of industrial waste heat is turning into a broader question about how small a power generator can get. Quick question before we keep going. If a home backup generator ever existed that ran quieter, without burning fuel indoors, and without any carbon monoxide risk, would that change which one you'd buy? Or does upfront price still win every time? Drop your answer in the comments, and if you're enjoying learning how this stuff actually works, hit like and subscribe. It genuinely helps this channel keep making videos like this one. Now let's be honest about where this actually stands. What's running in Guizhou right now is an industrial system built for a steel plant, not a box you can order for your garage. There's no announced consumer version and no timeline for one. Building components that can safely handle gas at those pressures requires specialized metals and precision manufacturing that costs more than a standard combustion engine. And the technology, as reporting on the parallel US project has noted, is still working through years of testing before it reaches full reliability even at industrial scale, let alone something small enough for a household. The wall hasn't disappeared, it's been moved further down the road. This research is a genuine step forward on the specific engineering bottleneck that kept this technology stuck in pilot projects for over a decade. It is not yet a product you can buy for your home. It's a strange thing to sit with. The generator sitting in millions of garages right now runs on essentially the same core idea as one built more than 100 years ago: burn fuel, spin a shaft. And yet a steel plant in Guizhou quietly running on pressurized gas instead of steam might be an early signal of the thing that eventually replaces it. Not with something flashy, but with something quieter, safer to stand near, and if the engineering keeps holding up, far less likely to end up in a carbon monoxide statistic. Technology like this rarely arrives all at once. It arrives in small, unglamorous steps, in industrial reports most of us never read, years before it ever shows up in a hardware store. So here's the question I'll leave you with. Which everyday machine around you right now do you think is next in line to quietly disappear? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to keep discovering the science hiding behind ordinary objects, subscribe so you don't miss the next one.